What are your running goals this year and how will you stay motivated to make sure that they happen? Hello, I'm Claire and you're watching Wild Ginger Running, the trail and ultra running advice and inspiration channel. This year, whether you're aiming for your first 5k on trails, an ultra marathon in a remote mountain wilderness, or you just want to be fitter and healthier, these motivational tips from top athletes like Olympic triathlete Jonny Brownlee and inspiring adventurers like Anna McNuff will help you achieve all your running goals. Good luck, have fun, enjoy your run, and I will see you on the trails. This film is powered by Road ID. Be adventurous, be safe, wear a Road ID.
Well, it is difficult, and I'll be honest, like people, I think there's a misconception that people who are like at an elite level or really fit find it easy to get out and motivated, and honestly, like I reckon I struggle pretty much, I'd say 7 out of 10 times every time I go running really. To get out there in the first place.
The hardest thing sometimes is just lacing up the trainers. Once you've taken 10 steps, you're into it and you just enjoy the flow and the feeling of being with nature.
I might work a 16-hour day and then I have an opportunity to get outside and run, and I think, oh, really? I don't want to go out, I just want to go to bed, I just want to like watch Netflix for an hour or something. But you've got to, there is a point where you just have to make yourself. There's no way to go, yeah, I want to go. You can't make yourself feel like, I want to go out, it'd be great. But you just do it, because what I say is you never ever regret it. You'll have a great time and you'll come back and think, oh, I'm so glad I got out, that's great. I feel refreshed, I feel energised.
Well, yeah, motivation's hard over winter because obviously it gets dark early, it's cold. My big advice is join a good group. So if you can meet someone at 6 o'clock after work and you've got to be there, then it makes it getting out far easier. Have a plan, do some races so you've got something to aim for, and vary it a little bit. So, you know, whether it's 1 week run on the canal or 1 week run around the city centre or on the roads, just do something to keep it interesting.
I think during the winter it's good to actually take a bit of rest time, so listen to your body, and if your body is quite tired from maybe you did a lot of events during the summer, it's really good to have that downtime and actually decrease your mileage, and don't give yourself a hard time if you sleep in. I think just forgive yourself if you've got a 10k in your schedule but your legs aren't up for it and you end up doing a 5k. Just be happy with that. Do what you can, but I think you can take your foot off the gas a little bit for the winter and have that recovery time is really important.
A to B runs that end at a coffee shop, absolutely. Like, run there, have a roast dinner or at a pub or a nice coffee and a slice of cake, and then get the bus back or get someone to come and pick you up. Like, I really struggle with running in loops because I think, well, if I run there, like, I've got no choice except to keep going. So I think A to B runs, especially in the winter, I call them no choice runs, because you've just got to keep going.
Explore, go and find new trails in your local area, and travel to new areas and go and run trails that you've never run before. Make an adventure out of it.
The training is the hard bit. You've got to get that to be fun to get to the end result. So variety, go and run different places, run your route backwards, run with people you've never run, get your map out and go, it's a really funny name, I'm going to go find it. There's a crazy place where I come from, it's called Dick Fox Pond. I'm like, let's go find it.
Yeah, in the winter, like, your routine runs can actually become a bit more of an adventure because maybe there'll be snow and things will definitely be dark, so you got to put on a headlamp, and that really changes the run. So actually, maybe, like, I get really bored doing the exact same 10Ks all the time, but it's what you end up doing because you need to fit your run in, and it can actually be really cool to just turn it into an adventure and make it a different thing. You're going to run in the dark or you're going to run in the snow and switch it up a little bit.
If you're coming back from work and you've had a long day and you need to go for a run, if you come back and your heating's on at home and your house is really nice and warm and inviting, I find it really difficult to actually get out of the door then for a run. So I'll make sure I don't put my heating on a timer. I come back so it's really cold, uninviting, and then I'm straight out the door, so I don't get tempted to sit down. And I think it's crucial that you try and get out pretty early, in that respect, so you're not sat down wasting any time and sort of talking yourself out of it, really. Also, you save a bit of money as well. I'm a Yorkshireman.
My big motivation for me is charity. It's finding something you're passionate about. Obviously mine has been Malawi for 10 years now, so that's a huge motivation for me to help orphans there. So that's a massive goal, because I get a two-way thing with helping, and then I learn a lot by going there and helping as well. The charity I support is Friends of Malanje Orphans. It supports 3,500 orphans in Malawi.
Get inspired by other people. I often look at what other people are doing on Strava, for example, and if they've done a big run, I'll do a big run. I'm inspired by that. If anybody's done something pretty impressive, I want to go out and kind of match it or do something similar. Also, give yourself personal challenges. So I set myself a goal every week of doing sort of 50 miles a week, 10,000 foot of climbing, certain amount of hours, maybe 7 or 8 hours on my feet. And if you can try and achieve those goals, it kind of motivates me, because I've kind of ticked a box, and it gives me some structure to my training as well then. So that's probably my best tip.
Diversify a little bit. We could all benefit from a little bit more strength and stability from circuit training, specific running exercises in the gym, or even some swimming and maybe indoor cycling. So rather than just using these as an excuse not to be outside in the cold, really focus and get some really good quality training out of them.
Go run in the dark, because you can do the really boring run that you've done a million times, but if you do it in the dark, it's different, it's cool, it's a bit fun.
Actually, I quite like night running in winter, like when it's really dark, and get a really good head torch, because there's something amazing about being out there and just the sound of your feet and bouncing off roots and rocks and things like that. So I would actually embrace the darkness and maybe run to the top of a hill and do a bit of stargazing or something. So I think things embrace what makes winter special, which is that joy of having something warm and tasty at the end of your run, and also getting out and enjoying the darkness, I would say. Yeah, and a really good buff. I think you need a good buff for your neck and your schnoz. Yeah.
It's good to have like a reward as well at the end of a run, so I often treat myself to a Costa coffee or a nice coffee when I get home, or sometimes just nice food, you know, so you've got something to look forward to at the end of it. That's definitely a good one, and definitely one I use a lot actually, because I really like food as well.
I also went for a swim this morning, and I definitely noticed that it's now entering the shiver season in the lake, so it's time when a bit of motivation is needed. So I think my motivation would be that this morning the alarm went off and I couldn't really be bothered to get up. And then I started running up the hill and I was a bit tired, and I knew I had to do a run later, and I was thinking this is a bit stupid. And then I got in this lake and it was really freezing, and I thought, oh, that was really cold. And then I came back down and I just thought, woohoo, I'm so glad that I got out of bed and made the effort and did this. So I think the motivation really is to think about what you would like to have done. So you think, right, by bedtime tonight, I'd love to have said I've been for a run. And I think that, in my mind, trumps the hassle of thinking, oh, I've got to get out the door now and it's raining.
I think it's always important to have little goals. Through the winter it's really hard to get outside, but obviously park runs are a great way to get out, and it's getting out with friends as well. So I think it's just to have those sort of day-to-day goals, maybe write it down in a diary. Monday, Wednesday, Friday I'm going to do it.
It's just a case of getting out there, enjoying the change in the seasons, embracing it, feeling the cold on the back of your throat and stuff like that. It's a different ball game, and then when the sun actually shines and it's spring, you'll appreciate all the hard effort you put in over the darker, colder months, shall we say.
Commit yourself and apply yourself as much as you can to the training plan that you've set in place, and you've got to try and enjoy and embrace the winter weather. I mean, it's not all bad. I love running in the snow. I absolutely love it, and if you've got the right equipment on and you get the right day as well, it can be the best sort of running, definitely. But the key thing is just to enjoy it and get yourself out there, because usually the runs that I enjoy the most are the ones where I've not really wanted to go out in the first place, but once I'm out, I've loved it. You know, that's 9 out of 10 times.
Sometimes don't think of training as training, think of training as fun, so it doesn't matter whether you ride into a cafe, as long as you're getting out and doing something.
Just go out and go, what am I going to see today? Who am I going to meet? What bit of amazing wildlife or what scenery am I going to see? So for me, it's absolutely about that adventure.
Over the winter, I think trying to still have a lot of fun, because I mean, fun is like really fundamental to training. If you don't have fun, you're not going to be doing it for very long. So there's lots of different ways you can try and make it fun. Try and get some friends to come out with you, pick new routes or new challenges, sort of excite you, and just get out there and enjoy the experience, whether it's crappy weather or not, really.
Probably one of my biggest motivational things for me to get me out is I always know that I feel so much better after it. And sometimes when you have a good day when you're running well, you just run well, but the days when it is raining and you get out and you do it, you come back and you enjoy your breakfast or your meal and you think, I did it, and then it sets the day off or ends the day in a really positive way.
And once you're out, and once you're wet. So I think wearing the right gear is important, so having good quality equipment and clothing, and just embracing the weather.
Watch people on Instagram, where have they gone running? Check it out, or you know what, come as simple as get a new pair of shorts and wear them.
It's called the Pants of Perspective, and it was about a 2,000-mile run. I did the length of New Zealand on my Todd with all of my gubbins on my back in a backpack, and it took me about 6 months to run what is called the Te Aroa Trail, and it was a journey that almost broke me. So the book is called The Pants Perspective because when I busted my ankle, middle of nowhere, I woke up the next morning, I thought, how am I going to get myself out of this? And then I remembered that I had packed myself this secret weapon, which was this magic pair of lycra pants with, there's a unicorn having a fight with a robot under a rainbow and a star-spangled sky. And I think everyone should have not necessarily that pair of pants, but something that gives them that perspective. I pulled those pants on and I was like, I am fine. You know, this is ridiculous. You know, I cannot possibly, it is scientifically impossible to be unhappy when I'm wearing them. And it just snapped me back to reality, and it made me be grateful for everything I had and the fact that I had food, water and shelter. And I thought, do you know what, it's okay, and it reset me. So I think having that mental tool, if you're taking on something that is, you feel slightly beyond you, having something that makes you snap back to reality basically and makes you just appreciate where you are and that everything's going to be okay is a really useful tip.
And going to Malawi has just changed my whole life, my whole perspective, and what's really important. And I think we live in a world where we're just overloaded with so much news and negativity, and I think another great motivation is to get outside, leave your phone and forget about everything and just live in that moment. Everyone goes on about mindfulness or meditation. Well, running along canal paths, which is in a lot of cities, or out in the countryside or trails, you're going away and you're living in that moment, and you're actually appreciating getting off the treadmill and appreciating how beautiful this island is.
Go and run with someone else. Actually go and inspire someone else to run. So maybe someone who hasn't run before or a bit worried, you go teach them, go inspire them, you'll get a massive kickback. And for me, that's it. Go and take someone else.
I think my main tip to people in terms of running is that I don't think anyone can deny that it makes you, after you've done it, it makes you feel better. There's no doubt that it's good for your health, and I think it's becoming so broad and mainstream now that I think anyone can feel welcome. And I think one of my absolute favourite things is park run. So these 5k free runs on Saturday mornings all over the world that anyone can join in. And what I love about that is that as the years pass and numbers go up, the average time for it is going up as well. People are getting slower at parkrun, which I find wonderful because that means more and more non-runners are doing it. So I think everyone should sign up for a parkrun and then go run the Marathon des Sables.
I never saw myself as a runner, never imagined I would run. And then I saw something which motivated me and inspired me. I saw an ultramarathon. At the time, I didn't even know anything about the sport. I was like, what are these people doing? They're running how far? They're going how high? And I honestly didn't think it was humanly possible at that point in my life. I thought, no way. So I watched these people and I could see on their faces just the journey they'd been through just during this race. And I just thought, wow, this seems incredible. I thought, I've got to have a go at this. But I thought, oh, I can't run. I don't really like running, do I? I'm not very good at it. I eat too much cake. And then I just thought, well, just forget all about that, get over those things and just go and have a go, because you never know. Because I saw people in their 50s, 60s and 70s, years of age, running that race. And I thought, well, if they can do it, what are my excuses?
Unless you're a competitive elite athlete, set yourself the targets against what you're up against and try and beat yourself rather than trying to beat other people.
I think one thing, when you're going through a tough time, you start spiralling into, well, this is difficult and therefore that means that and that and that, and I thought, well, that's it, the run's over, it's a foregone conclusion, everything's going to be this hard, when actually nothing lasts forever. As much as it can go better, it can also go worse, but it's always going to change. And I started to realise that through this run, I was being really harsh on myself. I mean, I think we're pretty mean to ourselves most of the time. I mean, if you spoke to your friends the way you speak to yourself, not have any friends. So I realised halfway through the run that I was just constantly beating myself up. I was just telling myself how slow I was going. I mean, I'm running with a 14 to 20 kilo pack up mountains and telling myself I'm going too slow. It's ridiculous. And so halfway through the trip, I just decided that I didn't like those voices anymore. And so I called called them the soldiers of self-doubt. Those were the negative voices. And then I invented some cheerleaders. And the cheerleaders would just do things like tell me that I was doing a good job. They're really American, like, whoa, well done, Anna. And every time the negative voices started, the cheerleaders would jump out. They would kick the soldiers like in the nuts. And then actually I just let the good voices come in, and that, it sounds ridiculous, but that really helped. And from that point on, which was about 2 months into the run, everything was much better, because I just said, I don't want to listen to those voices that tell me I'm not good enough. I'm going to listen to the ones that tell me I'm amazing.
It's not always fantastic. There's lots of times when it's like, oh, I'm sweating, I'm hot, don't feel well, my stomach's churning, what am I doing? But then there are those moments where it's just perfection, and you're just going along a trail and everything's right, and you're feeling strong, and that's a wonderful feeling when you're feeling strong. I love that. And you're skipping over the rocks, and it's just like you're dancing with nature. It's just such a beautiful thing. And for those moments, remember, all the pain and the difficult times and the hard work is totally worth it.
You just need to do it. There's no way. I've never been cross at having a run. I've always been cross at not going for a run, and that's the motivation for me. I can stay in bed, or I can sit in front of the telly and have the extra coffee or cup of tea. Next morning I'll be kicking myself that I didn't go out for at least the 40-50 minutes. And the health benefits and the state of mind benefits definitely far outweigh the staying in bed benefit.
Get it done, don't mess around, don't kind of procrastinate and put things off. You've just got to motivate yourself and know that at the end of it, you're doing it for the right reasons, and you're going to get fitter. It's all part of the process.